All right, so we're in the shop today and we're looking at a 1969 Subaru 360. This car was recently purchased by my customer and he wants to know what it will take to make it right and what it will take to make it a good runner. And from the outside, it looks like a really nice car. It's visually, paint shines, the interior is intact, and it has good character, looks like it has good bones. So let's go through this thing. If you're interested in buying a Subaru 360, this may help you. This is what I would call a post-purchase inspection. I know my way around these cars pretty well, kind of like the back of my hand. So I'm a pretty good person to talk to. I feel very knowledgeable and confident, and you may call me a guru if you really want. I've worked on lots of these cars. I own a few of them, and I really love them. They're great cars. But let's dive into this car and just see what he got and what he didn't get, and if it meets expectations or not. And I'm not going to be biased. I'm not going to be negative. I'm just going to point out the facts, and you can go from there. So, all right, let's start. Right off the bat, we've got a shiny Subaru 360 sedan. It's appears to be the right color. The top is fiberglass, and this top has been painted to match the car. It should be a little grayer in detail. And you can also notice here, I'm not picking the car apart, of course, it's missing the locking strip. There should be a stainless piece of steel that runs this whole thing that locks the top in. So that's one thing. These rubbers are in really good shape, and this has been polished. That's nice. It does have radials on it, 145 R10s. Originally the car came with 480 by 10s, which were bias plies, but this is pretty common to upgrade. Let's take a look under the hood, or I should say under the front trunk. The front car is pretty nice, actually. The battery box is not rusted out. It has an aftermarket Subaru, what do you call it, VIN plate. Normally the VIN plate is glued on right about in this area. They commonly get lost. I don't know if that's the right number, but it does have one. It also has the spare tire hold down, which is very rare, and this little tag, which I'm not sure, some type of an assembly tag. Those things get lost. It does have the brake fluid reservoir intact, although the tube is not correct and the silicone around there is not correct. It's very tidy in here. The spare tire normally goes in here and the jack goes there. It's missing the spare tire and it's missing the jack. But the wiring and the overall presentation of this underhood, what is that? I don't know what those are. It looks pretty good. This somebody made, that's chrome. It's fine. Looks good. Looks really good in here, and this has actually got the safety release. A lot of these do not. The windshield washer bottle is intact, and everything down here looks nice and clean. Let's move around to the interior of the car and see what we see there. The doors seem to open. All right. First off, the car has been reupholstered. This is extra puffy and has screws. The original stuff just had tabs that you couldn't see, and the upholstery was very thin, very cardboardy. A little darker red was the original upholstery, and thinner, like not so puffy with these lines, and it had more of a grid pattern in the center. Same thing with the seats. The seats have been redone. They're probably a little more cushy. There are no seat belts to be found in this car. And there's been some modifications to the heater system. I can see down there that pipe is not correct. That's Home Depot. There's the heater ducting in the back seat. And the cardboard gas tank cover is not correct. This car did come with a brand new dash cover, which I'm going to install because the dash is cracked. Also carpeting. All Subaru 360s had rubber floor mats with the Subaru 360 logo. Where was the logo? Was it here? I think. This is not the right boot. These controls are flipped around. Something's up with that. Can't see the choke and the heat. Should be able to see the tops of those. The only piece of wood in the Subaru 360 is right behind the pedal cluster, and that's missing. The tray is present. The radio is not right. They didn't have FM. They had AM radios, and I don't know if it was mounted under here or in the dash. This does say Subaru, but that's not the correct radio. Radios were an aftermarket add-on by the dealer. Dash looks pretty good. The charge light is not right. That's supposed to be red. Looks like it's just faded. Mileage is correct, or mileage is within. All the knobs and everything look good. Horn button looks good. The stickers are correct there. Those are the correct stickers for Subaru 360. They're worn a bit, and they're now reproduced by the club. Getting a good look at the headliner here. It's not supposed to be red. It's supposed to be kind of a creamy white, but that will suffice. That looks nice. Let's take a look at the outside of the car and the engine compartment now. I'm going over this rather quickly. Sometimes when cars get repainted, they get overspray on that mesh there, and it plugs that up. That one actually looks pretty clean. That is the correct emblem that's supposed to be on the back, and the correct emblem across there. That all looks in good shape. Tail lights look nice. The rear hood is missing the latch that goes there that holds it up. And we're missing the air intake snorkel, which is supposed to seal on this for cold air. And the fuel system's not right. There's no vacuum shutoff. You can see the red cap right there. Doesn't go up to the vacuum valve. And this tubing is not correct. All right. I'm not sure what this is either. That's not correct. Oh, it must have an electric valve. Maybe it's got an electric shutoff valve. Something's up with that. This looks in good shape. The oil injection bottle, the distributor cap and rotor has points. Generator looks pretty clean and tight in here. Other than the fuel system, everything looks pretty good. Let's get underneath the car and see what it looks like there. Let's jack it up. I forgot, this sticker is correct for the oil injection. And the latch system seems fine. This car's got a little dent right there and right there. That latch is correct. Bumpers look good. Okay, now let's put it up on the rack and we'll see what it looks like underneath. Before I get it up, there is a little bit of delamination on the windshield. Windshields are extremely hard to find. Also, the rear view mirror should be white and not black. But that actually looks pretty good. These can be tuned up a bit and repainted. Those are the correct wiper arms and blades. Okay, so let's take a look at the Subaru 360 from the bottom side looking up. Everything actually in the front here looks pretty good. Not a lot of play in the wheels. The speedometer cable, which runs off the front wheel here, is intact. All the brake hardware looks correct there. That clamp is correct. The steering boots are intact for the rack and pinion steering. All the bushings look good. Bumper brackets look fine. This actually looks pretty good. That all looks nice. Now I think we're going to get into a little bit of janky stuff here. So the throttle cable, this is bent, and this is really hokey. This is the throttle cable that's made out of a bicycle shifter cable. That needs to be redone with these clamps and this spacer and this. That's not right. That's going to give poor throttle response. Also, we got something going on with our brakes here. There's a trunnion installed. That's not right. That's been cut and new flares added. Something up with the brake line there. Maybe there was a patch, or I don't know. It's not correct. Let's work our way back here. Typically, the e-brake cables are not survivors. These ones need some help. They might still work, but they seem to be a bit seized up and need to be adjusted. This car did have the underbelly tray on it, which is actually very rare to find, which is that part right there. I took it off for the inspection. And let's see what we can see here. Actually looks pretty good. The heater duct hose has been repaired, but that looks all right. Oh, the muffler. So the muffler is totally wrong. That's a turbo style muffler somebody's made to fit. It actually fits pretty well, but I don't know what it sounds like yet because I haven't started it up, but that's not right. It's a 2-inch exhaust. It's pretty big. We've got a ground strap that's hanging here. We do have our mud flaps. They need to be cleaned up, but overall this car is not bad. This is pretty typical for what you'd get. Again, these cars are 50 some years old. There's a bit of Bondo along the lower parts of the body in some places, but could use a good detail, and this car would shine up pretty good. Needs a correct muffler, a throttle cable, and something is leaking on the floor there. Something from the transmission. It's probably a boot. I haven't figured that out yet, but I will. So I don't know. I would give this car maybe a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, something like that. It wouldn't take a whole lot to bring it up to snuff and make a really nice car. But I don't know if that's within the owner's wherewithal or capacity to do that right now. But anyhow, wanted to give you guys a little overlook of what a Subaru 360 looks like from the underside and what you can expect to find when you go out and try to purchase one. These things are becoming very collectible now, and very interesting little cars. I love these things, and parts are kind of hard to find. Some are very hard to find. This one I think could be saved and put back into good shape, good running order. It looks pretty nice. I think this would be a good candidate. So, all right, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking in my channel, and thanks for coming along on this inspection today. Hopefully we'll make somebody very, very happy.